Hello everyone, Mecha here. Today we're just going to have a quick look at the Guild of Dungeoneering. It's an indie game developed by a fellow called Colm Larkin, or also known as Gambrinus. It's an interesting version of a dungeon crawler. It's very papercrafty is the general theme of it, as you can sort of see. Just from this start screen. I'm going to go through a quick playthrough and sort of outline the mechanics and how the game works itself. I'm just going to have a quick talk about the future of the game and how it's being developed as well, because actually this game is not unique, but it's a nice example of a good indie game, some interesting, innovative mechanics, and what is actually an excellent developer. So let's have a play. So here's the tutorial straight away. It's not particularly detailed, but you know, it gets you going. You'll figure it out pretty quickly after one game, or after just watching me have a play. It's up to you. You can either pause and go play, or you can watch me. There's a download link in description. Here we go. So, papercrafty, we like this. So, as you can see, the art style is pretty. I'm actually going to mute the sound of the game so that we don't have to listen to all of it the entire way through. Yeah. But I will just leave it on for this little bit so you can hear it. That's pretty much all the sounds you get from the game in general. So, let's go through everything on this screen here. Here's your little dungeoneer. He can say things. You can click on him to make him say more things, etc, etc. Up here you have your hope. That will let you... I don't have any hope. Well, let's go through the cards first actually. So the idea of the game is that you build your dungeon as you go through it. You don't actually directly control the dungeoneer, but you can give him traps, or not traps, but you can discourage him from going certain ways by putting down monsters, and you can entice him to go other places with rewards. At the moment, I believe he prioritizes unexplored rooms. So I'm just building a quick path here. I don't really want him to fight a grey ooze because he doesn't have anything yet. So I'm just we'll just build those rooms and let it go. So you place down 3 cards, and then he chooses where he's going to go. He'll say something and off he goes. So he's just going to move one place each time. Each room you put down and each room he explores, you get an extra glory, which is like your high score, it's your points throughout the game, it's how it's tracked. We've got a mummy here, he's a bit powerful. So if you look up here, Dread, I believe that's being reworked at the moment, so I'll talk about that a bit later on in the video. But at the moment, this Dread cost is more of a way to... You use Dread to place these monsters, and it's more of a way to track how powerful that monster is than anything else really. So here we go, next way. So you can fight these monsters to earn some hope. And here we go, I've got a hope card down here. Oh, this is the fight screen, here we go. They're going to have a bit of a fight. There you go, you can see health, strength, speed, armor there. I'll explain those in just a second now. So there we go, I won that, unsurprisingly. And I got some 3 hope, which, I can't quite place the silver shield. So you use hope to actually play stuff like silver shields. You can play shields, you can play head armor, you can play body armor, swords or whatever, and you put those down just like the same way you saw me do with a monster a minute ago. And then that will... No, I'll play that next turn. I'll just get rid of one of these. And then you can effectively equip your dungeoneer with more stuff. So here we go. Here's an example of showing off the... he wants to go to the empty room. That's got the priority. Or no, it's not empty. It's no, I don't mean empty room. I mean, what am I thinking of? Unexplored room. That's the one. Thinking of unexplored room. So he's going to prioritize those. And because there wasn't an enemy in this one, I'm guessing he probably decided to go there rather than face the rubber ducky because he's a wimp. Anyway, next turn. Oh, I've got to discard. Put that over there. So you'll see here now, this blue line that you probably saw just there is him choosing which path he wants to take. So he actually takes the entire dungeon into consideration, as I understand it, when he's moving around and choosing which path he's going to go. So let's keep going. Might as well put that there, I guess. No reason not to place it, get more glory. Oh, you'll notice in the bottom right we have some stats here, which we'll use when fighting the ducky. Health is pretty much, your health. You take that much damage. Strength is how much damage you or your enemy does. Speed is who gets to attack first, I believe. I think that's being changed, I'm not 100% sure. And armor is basically an armor modifier, so it's a 1-to-1 ratio with your strength. So say pretend you've got 5 strength and your enemy has 3 armor, you'll do 2 damage basically. It just directly comes off your strength, or their strength, depending on your armor. So I'm just going to keep playing through now. That's the basics have pretty much gone over. Later on, as I play through, you're going to see a fire demon spawn in the lair, and he'll start to follow me around and try to find me. We'll see, I guess. So I'm just going to fast forward through the footage and see you again when the fire demon comes around. So hello again, the fire demon has just decided to come along and have a go at me. Oh, he spawned incredibly close to me, that's not good. I might be a little bit dead. So the entire idea behind the entire game is to gear up, explore this dungeon as much as you can, and either defeat or lose to the fire demon, as it were. So this is the game as it is at the moment. This is an early version of an alpha of a demo. It's a demo of an alpha of a game, basically. It's not, this isn't the full game, so I'm going to just finish off this playthrough and then I'm going to talk about the future of the game and where it's going to go and what the game should eventually turn out looking like, because I've actually had a really in-depth discussion with the developer not long ago, and he's a really interesting fellow. He's got some really great ideas for this game, and I think if he's able to do it, and if he puts the work in, like, you know, he's going to put the work in, he can make a really actually interesting new game. And my Dungeoneer is going to kill himself by turning around and going in the opposite direction to the way I wanted, and he's going to die to the fire demon. That's not good. Oh dear. So this is the entire point behind your hero. You don't control your Dungeoneer. Yeah, he's dead. That's it. Game over. There we go, that's the playthrough. So that's the entire point, like, you don't control your Dungeoneer. You can try and nudge him to go in the right way and hope he goes the right way, but you also don't have a choice. So sometimes he'll do things that you don't want him to do or you don't expect him to do, like he did just then. So I put that monster there so that he could get a bit more, so he could get some more hope, and hopefully I'd be able to get a weapon or something for him, but he decided to turn around and run right into the arms of the fire demon, who actually spawned very close. And that's the end of that playthrough. Let's talk really quickly about future of the game, of the Guild of Dungeoneering. So I mentioned before that I'd spoken to Gavranus, or Colm Larkin, whatever you want to call him. And as I said, he's a really interesting guy, really interesting. He's really passionate. He's given up his job to actually make this game. He's pretty much solo, except for an artist that he's working with. So, you know, it's really interesting that he's managed to come up with all of this himself. And it was really great to actually have a good discussion with him about the game itself. So the point of the game itself is actually, in the end, you are like the guild master of a guild. You control a guild. You can hire Dungeoneers. You can customize them, so you'd be able to have like mage ones, or you'd have rangers or rogues, whatever you could think of, pretty much. And you then hire them or contract them and send them off to a dungeon. And you'd have them explore this dungeon to try and get glory for your guild, and obviously money wouldn't be too bad either. But that's the entire point, to grow your guild and become a bigger guild, as it were. So at the end of it, when they in the final game, it's going to be actually really interesting to manage your Dungeoneers and have a really cool guild system in place. Which, you know, is actually really interesting. Like, you see things like this everywhere, and this is a really interesting take on the idea. So along with that, the dungeons themselves are going to be different to what you see right now. So you'd have themed dungeons, so you'd have like underground or in the sky or water dungeons with different themes of monsters and different kind of weapons you can pick up. We had a quick discussion about different weaknesses of the monsters, so you could specialize. You might purposely choose to send your mage to a certain dungeon because they've got monsters with weaknesses to magic in that dungeon, or fire, or melee, or whatever you want. So you'd actually have a purposeful decision as to how you tackle that dungeon in particular, which is, again, really fun. It could be really interesting depending on how it's done. You may have noticed that the dread, I did mention I was going to talk about the dread, so that resource isn't really used much at the moment. It doesn't really matter. We had a talk, and it's going to change. Basically, the idea of dread, he's thinking about changing it so that it's something to motivate you to keep going, or something, a motivator for your character to go in a certain direction or to move faster. And because when you place a monster, your dread lowers, so something's going to happen if you get too much dread to actually encourage you to actually play monsters rather than explore as fast as you can, which is something that's really needed at the moment. We had discussions about how the environment might change and how the look of the game might change as you get more and more dread, similar to the way you might go insane in Amnesia and games like that, which could be really, really interesting. It could really give the game another lease of life, as it were. So that's the idea behind dread, so that's changing, so that'll be really cool when that happens. As you saw in the game, Dungeoneer chooses pathing, so that's the idea behind the game, as it were. So that's where the game is going in future, and what it could actually be a really good game. Like, I'd like to see something like a little bit more colour in the game. It's like, as you saw, it was all very papercrafty, all very black and white, which is great. The theme's really nice, but at the same time I feel like it would be more immersive if there was a little bit more colour in the dungeon, so it actually felt like you were building a dungeon itself rather than you were drawing it. And I understand that the concept is supposed to be drawing the dungeon, but I would like to see a little bit more colour, so it felt like I was building a dungeon and actually exploring a real dungeon. And I think it would just bring a bit more life to the game. So that's enough about the future of the game. I think there's not much more I can say on that topic. I want to talk really briefly about the developer himself. Like, this is a great guy. Like, as I said, like multiple times so far, I had a really nice discussion with the guy. It was a good long discussion, and he's really dedicated. He's got some great ideas, and one of the things that I think is brilliant that he's doing is he is talking through every step of his development process with the public, with whoever wants to have a look. So I've included a link down in the description to his forum topic, and he posts every single change he's thinking about making. He'll come up with a couple ideas, and if he can't decide on one in particular, he'll ask people. He will ask people for help in deciding exactly which way to go, and he's so open to feedback, which is something you don't see in a lot of developers and a lot of artists sometimes, because they see their own vision, they see the way they want things, and they refuse to move from that. But not this fellow. He's brilliant. Like, you give him feedback, and if he likes your idea, he'll be like, well, I was bloody wrong, like, I'm going to go change this now because that's way better. And that's like something that's so important in developers these days, and you just don't see enough of. Just that transparency and that openness to suggestion and feedback, which is what I think will ultimately make this a brilliant game, and what could make this game a really good one as well. It's recently been greenlit on Steam. I believe the release will be in future. I don't think it's released yet. I will include a link to the greenlight page if I can find one. And thanks for watching.
Hey guys, this is Kiwi Kid.
And I'm Cutie Pie.
And we wanted to thank you for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe.
And check out more of our videos.
Yeah! Woo!